Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jefé Sports Podcast. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Man, I don't know if it's just me, but I am missing football right now. It feels like something's missing in my life. Like the Super Bowl was 2-3 weeks ago, but it's just something, man. It's something that's missing inside me. But, I had to go call up my boy and talk to him before this draft gets kicked off in April. So without further ado, here is my steal of the NFL draft, my good friend, Max Richardson. What's good, Max?
Hey, what's up, Jefé? Thanks for having me on. This is awesome. Our families have known each other for many years now, and we have quite the relationship. So I'm glad we're doing this, brother, and looking forward to it.
Hell yeah, man. Let's get to it, man. So tell me about how this draft prep has been.
It's been interesting. Uh, my journey has been in Orlando. I played in the Tropical Bowl, which was a postseason all-star game. Then I ended up going to Hawaii to play in the Hula Bowl, which is another postseason game. And I've been in Miami training with Pete Bomarito Fitness, which is a pretty good gym down here. And they've produced a lot of great 40-yard dash runners. So I'm just trying to stay focused, work hard. And although I may not run the fastest time, I'm just working on bettering myself every day. I don't really like to compare my scores to others, but just to myself. So that's what this postseason draft prep has been like for me. And it has been a little bit all over the place. So,
Hey, man, that's what's up, man. That's all you got to do really is just focus on yourself, especially in this time right now where it seems like everybody's on social media. Everybody's trying to promote the best image of themselves. Like sometimes the best case in your situation is to just go somewhere like Miami and be around dudes that are dogs that want to get better. They want to improve their draft stock and get to the promised land, which is an NFL job. So I think that's the best thing right now.
yeah, to go off your point on social media, like I think it's great. I use it a bunch, but it also takes away from your internal focus. It makes your focus external. So like as I look on social media and see a couple of my other buddies at another gym working out, or see a couple of my old teammates on the West Coast working out, sometimes it's good to see those guys doing their thing, but there's also you don't want to get caught up in the comparison, uh, what's yours, what's mine type of mindset, because there's always going to be a bigger agency who's signing bigger athletes, or a better gym that guys are working out at, or a stronger, faster player that you're going against. So I think it's very important for this pre-draft focus to be very internalized, and not comparing yourself to the next linebacker, but comparing yourself to who you were yesterday. So that social media has become a huge part of people's lives because of COVID, I think. Not that it wasn't before, but it's definitely a big deal.
Yeah. Max, let me ask you, I know just from, as you mentioned earlier, our families have been friends for a while. I know what kind of person you are, but for those listening, who is Max Richardson?
So most importantly, I take great pride in my character. Coming from a private school and going on to Boston College, which is a private institution, I take great pride in what my peers, my mentors, and my teachers have said about me after I've left, like the legacy that I have left at the places I've gone. I take great pride in that, and leadership is something that I've prioritized in my life. First, leading myself, then leading others, and then the last saying goes, "Leaders lead other leaders." So I think going through my time at Boston College, I made a lot of mistakes, and I was still figuring out who I am as I am now. But I did learn at BC that life is about celebrating others' accomplishments as well as yours, servicing others in need. And although my intentions and my focus is very internalized, I think living a life in celebrating your relationships and those who love you and who you love is very important, and it has something to do with self-respect.
Yeah, you
which
really
is
got to
which.
find that balance between the two. You know, if you're all about I'm gonna do this by myself and you're shutting out the outside world, you won't be as successful as you can be if you're in a group working together with something. That's my opinion.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the reasons I picked this particular gym in the the pre-draft process, is because I knew there was going to be other good players. I knew there was going to be other good running backs here that I could compete with, and really learn some things. I knew it was going to be other great linebackers here. So it's best case, but I also think if you really want to be successful in the pre-draft process and at the pro day or the combine, you got to be around guys who have the same intentions and goals as you. Otherwise, you may not get the same level of focus in training.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree with that, man. So, Max, let's talk about your last year at BC. So, you guys had a great year, and it really surprised a lot of average college football fans out there. How are you guys able to come together as a team and be successful?
Yeah, so we had Coach Hafley come in as a first year coach from Ohio State, and a lot
Go
of people
Buckeyes,
didn't.
baby.
That's right. A lot of people didn't know what to expect. And he did come in. He shook things up a bit. We got a new quarterback transfer from Notre Dame. Um, and so it was kind of a breath of fresh air for us upperclassmen to experience something new and to see the way he was steering the program. But also, it was just about pride. We had a standard at Boston College, and every year we had made a bowl game. So we weren't going to stop with this last year. Fortunately enough, we had a winning record. We were 6-5, and yeah, we played hard. Coach Hafley definitely made adjustments when needed, where needed. But it was great season this year. Had a lot of fun. Even though it was COVID, I had the most fun enjoying my teammates' company and everything like that.
Max, that's interesting you say that because when I was watching your game versus Clemson, and I watched a handful of games when I could, but you guys really looked like you were having fun out there, like a lot more compared to the previous years. But something about this year, I'm like, wow, like these boys are flying around on defense, making big plays on offense, and they're celebrating. And it just seemed like you're saying, a breath of fresh air for the program.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a lot of fun when you're in Death Valley and you're beating Clemson by 2 touchdowns going into the fourth quarter. But also, it's a lot of fun when you have a coaching staff and teammates that are all tightly knit, all supporting one another, working hard every day. When you get to game day, you can't help but enjoy it. And it was a great foundation that was started with the new coaching staff this past year.
Mm, that's great. How do you think BC is going to be from this point on?
I'm very pleased with what Coach Hafley has continued to do, even though I haven't been there. And my teammates, my former teammates, they're all very pleased with what's going on for this next upcoming year. Um, he has shaken it up a bit more. He's bringing in different guys and in different roles, but what he does is really inspires everybody to want to play for one another. He's great at speaking to the team, and he's great at speaking individually to his players. So very happy with Coach Hafley. I'm proud of them no matter what happens, but I do expect big things going forward.
Max, let's talk about your season. You had a pretty successful season as well, fourth in the ACC in total tackles. What was your mindset going into this year? Did you know it was going to be your last year, for one? And two, what was your mindset?
Oh, so yeah, the 2019 season was my true senior year, and I actually have played all 5 years of my college football career. So I initially thought 2019 was going to be my last season at Boston College. It just so happened that I came back for my 5th year, and my goal was to continue to be better. Have your best season and leave Boston College with great pride. And I may not have had the amount of tackles or the stats that I had a year prior, but as far as being a leader on the team, being a captain, and leading the defense, I was very proud of my performance this season. And I was just happy to be able to share the field with my brothers for another year. So I wouldn't change anything, even though we didn't win them all. It was great competition. I thought we had an unbelievable schedule this past year, and it was just great playing again in my last season for the Eagles.
Yeah. And I tell you, like, there were some games that you guys were just maybe one pass away or maybe one tackle away.
But yeah, I think we played UNC very strong, who had a great team, and they had two great running backs. We played Clemson very strong. We played Notre Dame pretty strong as well. So those are three teams with great offenses, great defenses, and they did very well in the conference. And we were never taking any losses as wins, or we weren't making excuses or anything like that. But each week we just tried to build on our performances, and at the end of the season we could look back and be proud because we gave it our all every game.
Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Gwinnett County, which is north of Atlanta, Georgia. And in Gwinnett County, I was able to play with a boatload of guys who went on to play Division I football. And then I ended up going to high school on the south side of Atlanta at a private school called Woodward Academy, where I also was able to play with a lot of guys who ended up going on to play Division I football. And football in all of Atlanta, and especially in Gwinnett County, is a culture. It was instilled in me at a young age. And so I think that has made me really appreciate the game and has kind of shaped who I became as a man.
Mm. Tell me, who was the best player you played against in high school?
So in high school, the best player I played against was probably Trevor Lawrence.
You played against Trevor?
I did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I did, yeah. In high school, we were in the same division. His team was from North Georgia and my team was from South Atlanta. But it's funny because he was probably one of the best competition I played in high school as well as college.
Mm.
He's just right there. So there's always a lot of talent in Georgia high school football.
That's what I'm saying, man. Y'all are really up there. Like Ohio, we always say like the top five. I'll give my top five right now. So Texas, Georgia, Florida, Cali, Ohio.
All right. Hey, I respect Ohio because I've had plenty of teammates from there. But also, if you looked at this past Super Bowl, it was the most players playing in the Super Bowl were from Florida. Then I believe it was like Texas, Georgia, but Pennsylvania was also up there. I think they had like the fourth most players in the Super Bowl this year. So PA might have some talent too.
They do.
I don't know.
They do. I mean, shoot, they got the feeder school Penn State up there, man. Sending all those guys up there. You know they got some talent in that state.
Yeah, they do. Sure do.
But Georgia, oh my gosh. Just thinking, I had a couple teammates from Georgia, and all those boys talked about the North. So is Gwinnett considered the North?
Yeah, the North that was coined by the Migos, and they're from Gwinnett County, and they played high school football in Gwinnett County. They weren't very good, but they coined the term the North side. And a couple of your teammates I actually know from Gwinnett County, your ex-teammates. A couple of them I know from Gwinnett County, like Malik Staples.
Yep.
I went to high school with Josh Johnson. So, yeah, it's
Yes,
great talent up there.
Yeah, man. So tell me, since we're on the topic of the North and music, bro, we got to talk about Atlanta, bro. Atlanta shows out every single year. Like, I mean, the hottest artist out right now is probably Lil Baby. Bro, what is it about Atlanta, bro?
I mean, simply put, Atlanta is the Black Hollywood. Like, there is so many successful brothers and sisters just in the city of Atlanta that it is become a culture to like spread Black excellence, to be a Black person and to get money and to come up. But it's it's been kind of cliche to say for the culture and things like that, but it's true because uh, it's like monkey see, monkey do. You know, as more and more people gain success in Atlanta, in particular, all these rappers, uh, the next young kid from the streets, he has a roadmap for success instead of you know, selling bricks. He hits the studio in the evenings and puts out tracks, and and a lot of the success in Atlanta is also feeding the money back into the city. Like Lil Baby is a perfect example. He's bought in malls in the hood. He's bought in neighborhoods. He's really trying to make his mark, not just as a rapper, but as a business, as a Black businessman in Atlanta. The roadmap has been set. Like even with Tupac back in the day, he established, although he was gang banging, he established a method where he could start sending some of his buddies to college just because he was financially stable enough to. So I think, although it's rappers and everything like that, they're starting to turn the tides on knowledge as well, in not just rapping, but rapping and getting educated as well.
Did you feel like it was a bit of a culture shock, kind of going from a place like Atlanta to Boston?
Yeah, well, I went to a private school and it prepared me for the strenuous, like Catholic school, regimented classes and long lecture halls. But it was a bit of a culture shock because where I was from was a very diverse area. And going to BC, it was mostly white Asian population, which is fine. I understood that going in, but it is a lot of it's a very bubble like environment. There's a lot of ignorance to a lot of the things that go on in the world. Um, but I do really love some of the mantras that come with BC, like service to others and Jesuit leadership principles is servant leadership. So there's some really good things about Boston College, especially as a Catholic school.
Hmm.
But they are still continuing to work on diversity,
Yeah,
which is pretty much everywhere in the world right now. You know.
that's true. Hey, I can't even go against that, man. Shoot. But that Jesuits, man, like something about the Jesuit education. Cause I went to X, Benny Glines, me went to X.
That's right.
It's just even Matthew Reevy. Shout out the young goat. Man, this Jesuit education is like something else, bro. I don't know if you like got this experience at BC, but kind of after I went through it, I feel like I'm a machine. I can really, if I see a task in front of me, no matter what's going on in my personal life or whatever, what distractions I have, like if I got to get this task done, I'm gonna get it done, and no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Well, I think it's also because Saints is a very well-known and very respected school, so they're obviously doing a lot of things right. But yeah, the Jesuit education, it really is like it's something enlightening. It not even in the religious aspect, but just working hard, being dedicated, passionate, time management.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I feel a bit almost dependent on some of those Jesuit principles that I learned in college now that I'm done with school.
With my show, I like to do a segment called Stay Wavy, where I ask my guests to talk about a specific moment in their life where they were facing some challenges and they didn't really know where to turn or what to do. So, do you have a specific instance like that in your life where your back was against the wall and somehow, some way, you ended up being successful and you stayed wavy?
For sure, I think an ex- I have plenty of examples in my football career, but one in particular is my senior year. I had something going on with my foot, so I had to get an injection maybe like Monday or Tuesday of that week, and I couldn't practice all week, and I was going to find out Thursday evening whether I could run and cut and play. So I had to observe practice from afar and just do my own thing, work out that week. But I never thought that you can be as prepared without practice. but I had to figure it out. I had to develop my own way to prepare myself for the game. And come Thursday, I did realize I could play, and I ended up playing a great game. But it put some confidence in me, because I found out that I can prepare in these different ways. But it was a grind because I did not know how to prepare at first, and I had to think and try new things uh, in order to be prepared.
Hmm. That's interesting, man. Just thinking about how that equates to life. You know, you might get thrown in a situation where you're not really sure what to do, but you have to take that outside step and you have to really just think about different ways how to achieve a goal. That's really deep. Just thinking back to my knee injuries, like I kind of had to do the same thing like you, where I had to take a step back and really just learn how to do everything over again. Like I had to relearn how to walk, run, jump, and God, like it's difficult, man, but staying wavy, that's what it's all about. Like really putting everything to the side and focusing on how you can be successful at it, man. That's just
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think life is very challenging, um, because it's almost like organized chaos. There's all these things going on, and for example, your knee, like having a tear your knee up. There's a lot of things you got to rehab. You got to strengthen your quad, strengthen your hammy, probably strengthen your calf. Then you got to
yeah.
build the flexibility in the muscle. But it's not doing all those things at once. It's doing one at a time and doing your best at each one at a time. And then eventually you're doing everything at once, without even knowing it. It's just second nature. So it's like, it's very challenging as a whole. But as you break down life, I try and be a minimalist, and I try and make everything very simple. So it's one thing that I can do my absolute best in. And then I'm on to the next. And after a while, it makes life a bit simpler.
Max, before I let you go, man, there's not many times in life where you can just sit down and say, you know what? I appreciate you. I thank you. So is there anybody that you have to thank in your life that has gotten you to this point?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my family, because I look at them almost as a mirror. Whatever they're doing, I want to mimic, and try and implement their successful trials and tribulations into my routine. My dad, my mom, both my older sisters, Darrington and Madison. I look up to all of them. In particular, the way my dad works. He didn't always have it easy. And when he wanted to become an attorney, he did that. And as you probably know from your family, starting off isn't easy, but you got to keep going every day and keep grinding. And even now, he's probably on the verge of retiring, but every day he's a machine. So thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Derry. Thanks, Maddie. Love you guys.
Oh man, that's heartwarming. That was a perfect end to this episode, Max. I appreciate you, man. Good luck in this upcoming draft, man. I know whichever team that gets you is going to get a superstar. And I know that you're going to have a very successful career in the league, man. So I appreciate you for coming on, and I wish you the best of luck, my brother.
Thank you, Jefé, and we'll talk soon, brother.
Yes, sir.